Everyone, today's video is for C.B.S.E class 12th student studying English core. I'll be discussing the last lesson. This is the first lesson in Flamingo. So this lesson is based on the theme of linguistic chauvinism, and this lesson is written by Alphonse Daudet, a French story writer and novelist. So the story starts this way, that the narrator, French, who is a small student, is going to the school. He was late for the school, and one day before his teacher had asked him to prepare a participle, but he was not prepared on his lesson, so he was fearing to go to the school, and it was a warm pleasant day, so he wanted to remain outdoor and to watch the drill practice of the Prussian soldiers and to hear the chirping of the birds at the woods. But somehow he managed these sorts of temptations and he proceeded for the school fastly. And when he reached near the town hall, there was a bulletin board, and through the bulletin board they were receiving all their bad news for last 2 years, the news about their defeated battles and the draft of the commanding officer. So he was curious to know that what could be the reason, because there was a crowd then, but he was late, so he was not able to stay there. And when he was passing there, then the blacksmith master was calling him and commenting that, Bob, don't rush, you have plenty of time. Then Franz thought that he was joking with him, and somehow by running he reached to the school. Then he found that the school was very silent, there was no sound, it was looking like a holiday. On the normal school days there were the sounds of opening and closing of desks, the sound of the wrapping of the ruler of the teacher, the iron ruler which he was carrying, and the lessons being repeated in the unison. But everything was silent, and through window he saw that his classmates were on their seats. So he was feeling shy and he was blushing a lot, but somehow he opened the door. But that day teacher has treated him kindly. He was not scolding him for being late, and he has asked him that we were going to start the lesson, go to your seat. And after reaching his seat, he saw that teacher was dressed in his exclusive dress. He was wearing a green coat, a designed shirt and black silk cap, all embroidered. And this dress he used to wear on the special days of inspection and prize days. And he was not able to realize the reason. And the thing which surprised the French most, that the villagers were seated on the back benches, which were usually empty on the normal school days. But teacher sat on his seat and he announced that the order came from Berlin that German would be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine, and your new teacher will be coming tomorrow. So this is going to be your last lesson. Please be attentive. And these words were like a thunderclap, and French was regretting that he was not learning his lessons sincerely. He was not able to write his language properly, and he would not be able to see his teacher anymore because he was going to leave the school tomorrow. Then he realized that why villagers were there. They were showing their respect for their country, for their language, and for their teacher who taught there for more than 40 years. And then the teacher started the lesson on grammar, and when the turn of French came to recite the dreadful rule of participle, he was not able to recite it clearly and in a very logical way. And he was stuck in the very first word. He was holding the desk and he was not able to see to the face of the teacher. Then teacher was not scolding him. He was saying that you are not the worst little French. You may be feeling bad, but we have a lot to reproach ourselves with. He was saying that you people were thinking that we have enough time, we will learn it tomorrow. So this is the problem of the people of Alsace, that they quit learning till tomorrow. He was blaming to the parents that they were sending their wards to work on mill or farms to earn a bit extra amount of money. He was blaming himself also that instead of teaching properly, some days he was going for fishing and announcing holidays, and sometimes he was sending his student to water the plants in his garden. And after that he was telling about the importance of the language, that French is the most beautiful and logical language and we must guard among ourselves. And after that he was saying that for a slave country, their language is like a key to the prison and we must guard our language among ourselves. Then he detailed the rules of the grammar and everything he was able to understand. Then French realized that before going away, the teacher was trying to put all his knowledge into the minds of his learners. And he thought that earlier he was not very sincere about learning his lessons. He was wasting his time in playing games and seeking the bird's eggs. And teacher was teaching very patiently. And after the grammar, there was a session on writing. Teacher has bought new copies for them, and there was in beautiful round hand it was written Alphonse, and it was looking like the little flags floating in the classroom, and all were set to their work, and even the small kids were just doing their writing work, and there was the sound of only the scratching of pen only. And then suddenly he heard some cooing sound of the pigeons. Then a satirical remark came to the French mind that will they force them to sing in German. Actually, he was feeling slave. He was feeling very burdened as they have turned slave after the war. And actually, this lesson is based on the Franco-Prussian War. And the leader of France was Napoleon then. And Prussian army was led by Bismarck. And Prussians defeated the French. And Prussia was then comprised of the three countries. That is Germany, Poland, and some part of Austria. Initially, from the political regions, the Prussians wanted to include some parts of Alsace and Lorraine, and this happened. And after the writing session, there was a session on alphabets, and the old Hauser was also reciting with the children. He was reciting and he was crying, and this was a very funny and serious scene. And after that, the clock of Angelus struck 12, and teacher stood up to address his student. He was trying to address them. He was just saying, my friends, but after that he became emotional and he was not able to say anything. Then he took a piece of chalk and he turned towards the board and he write in the bold letters, Vive la France. This means long live France. And he has put his head to the support of the wall and he signaled to the students that class is dismissed and you may go now. So this is all about the lesson. So you have to remember certain key points. First point is the linguistic chauvinism. It is a common weakness that every race has the pride of their own language. It is a good thing, but just imposing one's own language on the others is a bad practice, and this you will find in this lesson also. And we prize the thing when we lose that thing, and this happened with the French people. They were not respecting their language. They were not able to learn their language, but when the language was taken away, then they suddenly started realizing. And there is the change of the attitude of French towards the learning of the French language and towards the teacher. Earlier he thought that he was a crazy man who was carrying the stick, but afterwards he was finding himself attached with the teacher and he never wanted to miss his teacher. So this was a very brief account of the lesson, the last lesson. I hope you have enjoyed the discussion. Please like, share and subscribe English Solution channel by SPC.